deal with you. You just do. If they're not messaging you, they don't care. If they're messaging you, they want to talk. If they're calling you, they're trying to make you understand how they feel. If they ask you out, they want to see you. And if they put effort into all of these things or any of these things, they probably care to a certain degree. Sometimes we just fail to see things for what they are, and we romanticize certain toxic traits, such as, he's ghosting me or he's not answering me right away, so I will also not answer him right away. And you get into this loop of lack of authenticity, lack of trust, lack of empathy, and then you're always building on facades, games, what works. And the more you do that, the less you actually trust yourself to be a quality person for a relationship or someone of value. The more you romanticize the shitty behavior, the more you're building an identity around what happened to you, because I am sure that you are not putting up those walls for fun. You are not trying to be toxic just to be toxic. You have these patterns because at some point in your life, you didn't have a choice. You were probably disappointed by people, made to feel like you were unimportant, made to feel like you didn't matter. Maybe you were used by people in your past, and I'm talking early on. And so you had to build this protection, this shield. And it's okay sometimes to take it off, just to see what people have to give to you, and not just the protected version of you. And that requires vulnerability, that requires honesty, and I think you owe it to yourself first to be honest with yourself and really see it for what it is. If they're not texting, they're not calling, they're not trying to see you, they don't care. And even if they do, the level at which they care is not mature and adult enough for you to build something off of. And it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you that makes you unlovable, difficult to communicate with. It's a match of people. Maybe they're not at a place in their life where they can give you the time and the attention. And that's okay. Someone else will. Doesn't have to be them. And when you attach love, commitment, and affection to a person rather than a set of actions, a set of standards, that's when it becomes difficult for you to have your boundaries and respect yourself. I'm not saying don't love people. I'm not saying don't have feelings. But don't make your decisions purely off your feelings. Because what you can react to might not be what's best for you. If you grew up being, how can I say that? If you grew up being made to feel like you were never enough, if you grew up being made to feel like affection is gross, if you grew up being made to feel like your value depends on your productivity, how much you can do, how fast you can do it, and how often can you do it, the things that will make you feel love as you've always known it or as it was presented to you might not be the healthiest for you down the line. And so we really got to step back and think, okay? Based on their actions and actions alone, do they actually care? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, you have the right to be sad about it. You don't have to pretend like you're bigger than being a human who actually cares. God forbid. You don't have to pretend like you're so much better, and get into this overly compensative, like trying to, okay, how can I explain that to you? Run it back. Let's say that you're feeling very, very, very hurt, but you're not comfortable with being hurt because you associate it to being weak, or you feel like it's only for losers to feel like their feelings are hurt. The opposite of it is to literally not care, like, but to a point where you make fun of it, you make fun of them, you go all out. Maybe you start dating 60 people in a week just to show how much you don't care, post pictures on the gram with new people to show them. And it's like this imbalanced state of mind and heart where you feel like you're protecting yourself. It's always about protecting yourself. And there's like the middle ground that's waiting for you, where you can acknowledge that some people are just not meant to be in your life. Sometimes it's going to hurt, but you can take the pain for a little while, allow yourself to feel, and then decide to move on because you deserve better. Obviously you do. And that's what I mean when I say, I want to talk to you, being real, straight up, and make it about you. It doesn't mean that the people that hurt you aren't shitty people or people that didn't deserve you in the first place. That's just not the focus of what I'm saying. But I hope you understand that you don't deserve to feel hurt. It's just going to happen regardless of how much you protect yourself. Because there's a bunch of people that are twisted. And most of the time they come into a beautiful package where even if you tried to look for the signs, it would have been difficult to tell. So you can't blame yourself forever. You can't just isolate yourself forever. There needs to be a level of self-respect at which you decide your worth and you stick to it. Like you pick your standards and you stick to it. And I gotta be honest with you, getting over someone you never dated feels like a trip in my brain, because it means that a part of you associated the absence of someone to love. And I'll say this because if you haven't dated, you guys probably didn't spend that much time, let alone quality time. A lot of intimacy, and not just physical, I mean emotional. You don't plant a seed and watch for it every day and wait for it to grow. It just does over time. And so when you're trying to get over someone that you've never even dated, the main takeaway is for you to work on your patience. There's a part of you that don't trust yourself to build something. There's a part of you that wants things right away, right now, and will go outside, watch the seed every day and see if anything changed. There's also a part of you that didn't recognize that the person wasn't interested in the beginning. There's a part of you who maybe excused their behavior, found reasons for it, didn't listen to your gut feeling, because I'm sure you had a gut feeling at some point, had some heavy emotions, and then decided to completely rationalize it when you gotta just go the other way around. So you start very rational, and then you open up emotionally. And I'll talk to you another time about signs that someone doesn't care about you, or things to look out for if you feel like you're being played. That being said, the responsibility is also onto you. It's for you to sit down and start to evaluate what's not working in your life. Or else, different people will show you the same result, because you will continue to attract situationships and relationships that at the end of the day don't care for you. If they're not sending a goddamn text message, they do not care for you. They're not busy, and it's not even that if they wanted to, they would. They're not even thinking about you right now. And you're out here just like wishing and hoping, and I feel like you just deserve better. And it's time for you to realize that. When you're ready, like, feel what you have to feel, of course, that's number one. But when you're ready, I invite you to realize how good your life can be without them. Then make it a challenge. See how good your life can be without them. how much you can do things for yourself. Build that trust and that relationship with yourself through actions, not just words. And make sure that these actions are not extreme, so that they're not coming from a place of protection and playing a character and being too much of this, too much of that, for the sake of just not admitting what's going on, which is like the most normal human thing ever, which sucks, but it's like, hey, someone disrespected me, someone used me, someone took advantage of me. It's gonna happen again. It is, and you can't give people power like that. You know where you're going, you're in control. You can't be distracted about these little inconveniences because of people that aren't mentally capable of being there for you, seeing your value, respecting you, and so on and so forth. So how do you get over someone, right? First, purge them, feel what you have to feel, and then move on to the next stage, which is evaluating what happened, what went wrong, what is it that I don't want to recreate in my next relationships, and then build that life with yourself, build that comfort, build that relationship with yourself. Pick up a new hobby, go extra hard in your work. You're never going to regret it. And remember that there's, 7.9 billion people on Earth. Someone's going to be able to meet your standards. Someone's going to be able to meet your standards, believe me. And if it wasn't them, well, that's their loss. And you gotta have that respect for yourself, where putting yourself second and wondering what they're doing, what they're up to, it's like, worry about yourself. You deserve it. Based off what you've done, we can see the results, which is they don't care. And the more you care about them, the less they do. So do yourself a favor and take that energy that you have left, because we know that when we're going through breakups, hardships, the energy levels that we have is a little bit reduced. Please give it to yourself. So, all in all, you're doing great. Keep going at it, keep moving forward. You deserve to feel the love that you want, but you gotta trust yourself to be able. And I know that human relationships are scary. They're even scarier when you don't have a good example or a good reference of what they're supposed to be. When no one gave you a proper example of healthy love, of healthy bond, when you had to take so much responsibility so young, when the love you received was conditional to your actions and your actions only, when your worth was associated to your productivity, it's completely normal to think that most people will start seeing you as such, as someone to use, someone to throw away, someone to discard, and we're not always aware that we have those feelings, but they do show up in our actions. You know what I mean? Look at me in the eyes. Let me get more precise. When you're used to people walking away from your life or making you feel like the love you deserve is conditional to what you do, the minute someone wants to be in your life, you are going to not only doubt it, but test it. And you're not aware that you're running these tests. You might say something hurtful to someone. You might ghost when things are good. You might provoke something, a situation, or what we call self-sabotage, baby. You know it. Oh, we know it. And that's not a bad thing when you are unaware, because you think that's just who you are, and that you have no choice but to be that silly little person who needs to self-sabotage every single time something goes good. And we get tied up in these identities and we start to believe that this is who we are. And this is why you've been feeling what you said to me, which is the fear of being alone. Reality is, you live alone, you die alone. Get comfortable with that. Would you resist persist? You can try to pretend like you're not living life on your own. But between you and I, you don't really need them. But you choose them. And when you make a choice that comes from the bottom of your heart, nothing feels more empowering. Suddenly, you're not running away from the nature of life and the egotistical side of being a human creature. You are simply making it your own. The fear of being alone is like the fear of breathing. But you do it unconsciously, so you don't have to think about it too much. And being alone doesn't mean being lonely, by the way. But I'm sure you know that. Actually, I know you know that. Because being alone is, let's say me in this space right now, I'm alone. There's me, you, behind the screen, but physically in the 3D, I'm alone. However, because I know you're here watching and loving every word I'm saying, I feel connected to you. And this is true for the friends that you have that aren't physically with you, or the memory of old, maybe roommates, workers, co-workers, parents, acquaintances, I don't know. But what I do know is that you've been connected all of your life. And for two people to connect, you need two pieces coming together and bringing something to one another. The fear of not falling in love or not experiencing what we see in the movies, which is usually the tough love, the intense back and forth, the deep rejection, fighting for a relationship that at the end of the story, at the end of the day, ends up working. And you think that with everything you're doing, working, taking care of yourself, building your friendships, building your relationships, or trying to, and also your money, and figuring out how to manage everything and to remain consistent, you are telling me that you could have the time to live a storyline that was written for your entertainment only, where people are paid to act as this fantasy, this grandiose experience of love. And that is where your personality comes into play. The older you get, the more you know yourself. And maybe you're suited for a relationship that's intense, and maybe you're suited for a relationship that's more comfortable. But a relationship requires you to be whole, to know yourself, know what you want out of a relationship, for you to meet someone who is going to match you on that. Most of the time, the fear of being alone comes from the lack of clarity in our personality. We think that we want comfort, but then we get around people that feel very comfortable, they love the routine, and they could do the same thing every night. Watching a movie, eating snacks, just hanging around, seeing some friends, rinse and repeat, and they're happy. And that happiness is real, or else they would be doing something else. And maybe you meet someone like that, and you're thinking, you know, I'm totally this way. I can do this. And yet, Internally in your head, you're wondering, why are we still watching the same thing? I want to do something else. Maybe I can change them. And they didn't ask for anything. They didn't ask for your help. They didn't ask for a lifestyle coach. They didn't ask for a renovation of their routine. They believed that you guys were a great match because you were both putting in the same kind of actions. You do accept to watch a movie with them. You go to their place every night. That's a routine. But if you know that internally you don't feel good in that setting, that's a sign that something else is in the book for you. And that's your responsibility to listen to your gut. People only see your actions. If you are showing up every day to their place to watch a movie, and deep down you feel unsatisfied, what they're seeing is you showing up consistently and making the decision of being here. And it is your responsibility to see how you feel about it. There is no right or wrong. Loving a routine doesn't make you a bad person. It's a personality type. But everyone deserves respect. So if you feel like you are unsatisfied with that and you become bitter in these relationships, it's simply because you haven't evaluated who you are to begin. And you need to go back to the drawing board and really ask yourself, who am I? What is my personality type? What makes me happy? And from there, if you need a relationship that's more dramatic, requires more back and forth, more chaos, emotional uncertainty, then you must pair with someone who's also willing to do that. And just know that your relationships will take a higher percentage of your day-to-day life versus someone who is into routine in their relationships but take a lot of risk at work. You remember I told you about the triangle of life, where you have health, wealth, and relationships. We literally drew it together. And everyone has a personality type. It doesn't matter what takes most of your time or most of your focus. What matters is that you stop resisting who you are by trying to put your focus elsewhere, when deep down you already know what is for you and what kind of person you are. Let's be real. And I don't mean the app, because who cares about taking a photo at a certain time of the day? I mean, the only reason I kind of removed the app from my phone, to be honest with you, is because it just feels like a responsibility to me. I don't know. And it didn't feel fun. And that's a good example that we can actually take. Some people will love using an app a certain way with certain restrictions, and other people will be like, nope, that's a responsibility. And you will feel the same way about anything. But wherever you go, there you are. You can have 30 new beginnings, and it's still about you. You bring your personality everywhere you go. You bring your character everywhere you go. You bring who you are to the core, your human experiences, everywhere you go. And if something isn't working for you anymore, do not fear. Embrace and take the responsibility to make the right changes, because you deserve to live your life. And even though we go through life mostly alone, choosing the right company will make it worth it. But if you live in fear, what you're truly experiencing is a lack of self-awareness. You feel weak. You think that people are here to get you, as if they had the power after everything you've gone through, after every challenge you've overcome. You're going to tell me that people have that kind of power over you? And listen, when you're ready to snap out of it, you'll be ready to snap out of it. And I believe in you. But you must believe in yourself. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, check the description box. Thank you so much for listening. And if you wish to hear more, have an extra video per week from me, access behind the scene content, subscribe to my Patreon. If you wish to give me anything from